How is it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today we are taking a look at the brand new update available for World of Tanks console. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comment section, and if you want to tell me what kind of videos you want to see upcoming, then make sure to leave them in the comment section down below as well. But let's get straight into the news itself, because we have a big anniversary for Wargaming coming out at the moment. It is, of course, the 25th celebration of Wargaming being a company, and so we're going to have a look at what sort of things that they are doing. There's some sales that are coming on that are actually pretty decent, as well as some events that you might want to take advantage of. There is also a K91 on track challenge that I want to give you a review of the tank, and also some of the benefits of actually grinding this line right now, because it is crazy how many tier 10s you can get off of this, not just the K91. So without further ado, let's jump into the first bit, which is the new contract. This is the roundabout. This is the mercenary tier 4 tank destroyer, and we do have a dedicated article to this, which is essentially talking about this contract. For those of you that aren't kind of well versed in what the roundabout is, much like I wasn't, this vehicle is essentially a mercenary vehicle at tier 4, a tank destroyer. It also has some pretty interesting statistics, because it is a mercenary tank. You know, they basically add a load of different vehicles all into one and give it some pretty very good gun stats, and also a variety of different other things. So essentially it's a looks. It has a turret that is essentially an M8A1, and then has this LB2S main armament, which is a pretty decent one. 160 damage per shell. You've got okay penetration for tier 4. You've got 370 hit points, which is meh. 58 kilometers an hour top speed, so it's a very fast one, and the view range to concealment is not bad either at this tier, which allows you to spot people. So overall the tank is pretty decent. It has a horrendous aim time though, 2.7 seconds. Accuracy is horrible, 0.45, so you'll be wanting to take all of the accuracy perks possible if you are thinking about doing this. But how do you actually complete it? Well, essentially it is your typical mercenary tank XP requirement, which is essentially that you complete a ton of XP requirements. You have to look in the region of about 200,000 XP, which for a tier 4 is quite a lot, and maybe 150,000 XP total. It does count XP boosters that you might use and that sort of thing, but at the same time, yeah, 100 and something thousand XP is a lot for a tier 4 contract. So if you aren't already going for some of the higher tier contracts, things like the hard case, I definitely wouldn't swap over to this one, and I certainly wouldn't recommend getting this one over some of the others that are inclusive of those higher tier mercenary vehicles, as they are much more worth your time and they're going to be more fun than probably this one is going to be, since you might only play 5 games in this thing and realise playing tier 4 is not particularly the most enjoyable experience in World of Tanks. But you know, the new contract for the roundabout, it is there for you guys that are interested, and of course, you know, the stats are on screen right now. But moving swiftly on, we then of course have the celebratory anniversary sales, which is one of the things that you can take advantage of, and you don't even need to pay any money, because there are some additional sales that come in the form of 50% off camo, emblems, inscriptions and flags. So if you want to purchase your camo for all of your tanks right now, it will be 50% off, and that means that even the silver equivalent will be 50% off. So it's a brilliant time now to load up on the tanks that you've been playing for a while and put 30 days of silver camo onto those vehicles, so that you have them for a longer period of time, and you're not going to have to, you know, keep paying the higher price of silver for putting on the camo. And if you are interested in using permanent camo by paying the gold value, which is 200 standard, it will be 100 gold to be able to purchase the premium or the permanent camo even. So yeah, I mean, maybe it's worth it on some of your tier 10 vehicles if you are interested in using that to save you a little bit of money in the long run. But for the most part, I still would rather pay the silver to be able to get my camo, since I don't play one tank enough to probably warrant spending permanent camo. But for me, I have a ton of camo vouchers that I can use for any of my tier 10, so it's not a problem. But bearing in mind, you have to use 4 camo vouchers for 1 tier 10, or any tank if you want to, have a camo for each one of them. So it will cost you 400 gold to be able to put permanent camo on all of your tanks right now, and 800 normally. But anyway, moving swiftly onwards, emblems, inscriptions and flags. So all of the customizations, they're all 50% off, including the silver cost as well. So yeah, a nice little addition to this. It would have been very nice to see that they'd increased or added the equipment on top of this, but unfortunately they haven't. It would have been nice to see that they added in the crew respec for free. It would be cool, just for a small limited amount of time, that they allowed us to respec our crews for free. I mean, 90 gold, it's not the most expensive thing, but at the same time, are they really making a whole lot of money off of it? And would it not have been a nice thing or a nice kind of proposition to us to just allow you to respec your crews for, a week? I mean, it's not going to cost them any money, but either way, hopefully you can take advantage of this if you're a free-to-play player. But if you aren't, or you want to see whether some things are actually worth you spending your money on, we'll go over that now. And essentially what we have is the booster bundles, which are probably the best thing that you can purchase if you are disregarding premium tanks, if you're disregarding the battle pass, if you're disregarding premium time, then these are probably the best thing to buy. And I'm not talking about the commander boosters, I'm talking about the vehicle XP boosters and the silver boosters. And for me personally, in terms of the time saving that it saves me to be able to have ×5 vehicle XP boosters, this is probably one of the best things that I can purchase in the game right now, because essentially what it does is for every 1 battle I play, it saves me 5 battles worth, or 4 battles worth of playing the game. And yeah, I mean, it is how the name implies, it's 5 times faster. So for me, if I'm spending, an hour on one vehicle to be able to get X amount of XP, I'm essentially getting 5 hours worth for just 1 hour. So, I mean, yeah, it's not a genius level thing, but for me, I kind of work it on how much am I going to be kind of costing myself in terms of enjoyment. Am I playing a terrible tank for like 100 games? Can I actually save myself and only have to play 20 games where I enjoy the rest of my time? And how much is it going to cost me to actually be able to do that? And if, for example, it only costs me, £1 an hour, which is essentially probably less, or probably more expensive than what it actually is, because you're probably using in the range of about 5 vehicle XP boosters per hour. And then, you've got 20 hours worth of XP boosters, depending on how quickly your games go, depending on how quickly you're going through them. And yeah, it depends, you might get taken out and you're able to do 12 battles in an hour. So it really depends on where you're at with how many you're doing. But of course, it is saving you the time. So for me, because battles tend to last about 6 minutes to anywhere up to 10 minutes, depending on how it's going, I'm saving myself tons of time by doing this. And for me, 10,000 gold, I think it costs about, I want to say, £35, somewhere in that region. So for me, £35, if it saves me 20 hours, I split that £35 divided by the 20 hours, and it's costing me about £1.50 per hour, which for me is easily enough to be able to afford it. If you're living in a country, which I'm sure there are people out there that, this is not worth it for you, then by all means don't spend the money. But if you are in a position where you feel like you can spend the money and you want to save yourself some time, the ×5 vehicle XP boosters are, in my opinion, at a 50% discount, worth the price, kind of. But of course, if you are enjoying the grind of a tank, there's no point in speeding it up using ×5 vehicle XP boosters. So I only use them in the case where, for example, I'm playing a stock vehicle that's awful, or alternatively, if you want to make the best use of them, you save your ×5 vehicle XP boosters until you get an XP with interest operation, which essentially will give you not only ×5 vehicle XP boosters, but they'll actually act as more because they're giving you an increased base XP value that is then going to be used to calculate even more XP added onto that. So in fact, a ×5 vehicle XP booster used XP with interest operation, it's a challenge that comes out probably once every, I would probably say like once every 4 months. You'll be able to get maybe 8 times XP from one ×5 vehicle XP booster, which of course is saving you 8 times the time. So for me, that is when I use them. That is where you get the most bang for your buck, and I use them on those horrible tanks that you hate playing, and that is pretty much it. If I find the tank okay, average, or anywhere better than that, then I won't bother using them, because at the end of the day, I play this game to enjoy them. I enjoy playing some of the tanks. I enjoy playing them stock. I enjoy upgrading them, which is why I don't always use them, but they are there for if you need them, and now is a decent time to buy them. But I want to caveat it, it's not for everyone. If you feel like you have to purchase something on the game and you have nothing, premium time, battle pass, those are the things you should be prioritizing. Forget everything else. There's literally no point for the majority of players. So for those of you that have a little bit of money and you want to spend a bit more and you're not sure where to put it, this is potentially something you could pay for. But I don't want to promote it. You know, for the vast majority of players, you don't need this. It's just there for anyone that's interested. And then, for example, you can get the ×2 silver boosters, which are very expensive. And for the most part, I probably wouldn't recommend them for the majority of people. So it's just a case of, you know, if you, once again, if you can value it and feel like it's going to save you time or it's going to save you hassle or you just can't be arsed, then these are some of the things you can use. The Commander XP boosters, to be honest with you, I wouldn't really ever purchase, and even the ×2 silver boosters I wouldn't really ever purchase myself. It's just really the ×5 vehicle XP boosters that I ever actually spend the gold on, and often I will actually save up my gold from the seasons to be able to pay for these ×5 vehicle XP boosters, which is what I would recommend to you guys, as opposed to, you know, just buying them outright, since they are quite expensive with real money. But anyway, moving on, there is premium consumables. I would never, ever, ever really recommend using your gold to be able to purchase these. They are simply not worth your silver to be, or your gold to be able to purchase them. Now, granted, 1,875 gold for 100 rations. That works out at 18.75 gold per ration. And if you convert your gold into silver, it probably works out at about the same sort of cost. So it's really just about, are you really that bothered about saving 25% off of the silver that you pay, that you're going to be paying for them? Probably not really. I mean, you're saving yourself in the region, I want to say, of about, I don't even know, like barely anything. Essentially, you can pay for silver with them, which is what I would do. I would never recommend buying premium consumables. Anyway, moving swiftly onwards, we then have the Cold War vehicle bundles. These are 2 bundles. I'm sure that there will be more bundles coming out as well, but these include the Leopard VT2 and the M60A1, which is the Cold War vehicles, 12,900. It's an okay bundle. I think that they are both okay vehicles and certainly ones that you can use. And for that price, I mean, for 2 Cold War vehicles, if you're interested in making silver, this would be a good investment. But other than that, the T72 M1 and the Object 934, I'd probably avoid this one out of the 2 bundles. Definitely the Gap Defenders is the way I would go if I wanted Cold War vehicles, and I didn't already have them. But that's my opinion on the actual sales. I'll be interested to see what you think. Do you understand where I was coming from with the ×5 vehicle XP boosters and the kind of weighing it up for your own financial situation, and whether it's going to save you that much time, which you could have been putting somewhere else to make more money or whatever, or just to save you that much time that is going to be beneficial to you. So yeah, just weigh it up on your own individual basis. But anyway, moving forward, then we have the tank trade-in event. So this is the premium tank, where you can essentially trade in a premium tank to be able to get another premium tank, and you get 50% of the gold value from the tank you're trading in towards that new premium that you want. So if you, for example, you have a tank that you are never ever going to play, a tier 8 premium tank that you never are going to play, and it's in the list in which you can trade in, you can get 50% of the gold towards another vehicle. So essentially, for example, if you are buying a 10,000 gold tank and you have a 10,000 gold tank that you trade in, you will get 5,000 gold towards that next tank, which means you're only going to have to pay 5,000 gold for the second tank. But as I always say with this thing, I think it is a little bit of a scam, because for the most part you can often pick up these tanks for 50% off in bundles, which you don't even have to trade a tank that you already own to be able to get that 50% discount. It's just really there for if you are never going to play a tank, if you're not interested in having the possibility of getting the same tank out of a key card, and therefore you would get the gold value back. Because if you, for example, you get a tank out of a key card that you already own, you get the gold value of that tank. I've done it multiple times. It's made me so much gold, I can't even tell you. But what happens is if you trade in that vehicle, you not only lose access to the vehicle, you not only are trading it in for 50% of the value, but then if you get the tank again in a key card, you weren't ever going to play it in the first place, and then you end up with it again. So essentially you could have got like the full price of the tank as a key card or in a key card if you got it again, whereas, you know, you're only getting 50% of the price of it. So yeah, I mean, for me, I never would use the trade up event unless I was seriously wanting one specific tank that was in the trade up list, which you could get, and it was, you know, super rare. It never came on sale, and to be honest with you, the majority of these tanks come on sale quite often. So for me, I wouldn't really recommend ever using this, but it's up to you, it's down to you, and of course I'm not going to tell you exactly what you should or should not be doing, but I wanted to inform you that this is not as good as it might seem. Either way, moving on, we have the what's happening this week. So we've gone through the vehicles. We also have a challenges and events tab. So of course in the game you have the challenges tab, you have all of your season pass challenges and stuff like that, but at the Apex and Stand and Deliver. So at the Apex is going to give you double vehicle XP, and it's available twice per day. So what you can do is, of course, jump into your game. All you have to do is place in the top 5 XP earners on your team and you get double XP. That also stacks with your daily win of the day, so you can use that to your advantage as well. And then the Stand and Deliver is a 1.5 times silver for 5 times a day, and all you have to do is penetrate 3 or more shots while receiving 3 or more penetrating shots. So basically play a game for the most part and not be absolutely terrible. So yeah, not a bad one. It's just some extra additions to the game and your challenges. And then the kind of final thing that I want to cover within this is the K91 on track event, because we showed it at the beginning. We highlighted that that's what they're doing, and essentially what they're doing with the on track event to the K91 is that you'll be able to get a 25% vehicle XP bonus on every single tank in the tech tree line, so 1.25 times the amount of XP that you would typically get, which is fantastic for grinding through the tech tree line. And more importantly, you'll also be able to get some significant silver discounts for all of the tanks leading up to the K91, and there's even a better thing, but we'll get on that in a second. But the 50% silver discount applies between tiers 3 and tiers 6, so if you want to go back and purchase tanks, it's a fantastic time. If you're wanting to grind the tanks, it's a fantastic time. And 30% discount between tiers 7 and tiers 10, that applies to the K91 and all of the tanks before it. So 30% discount, very nice indeed, and it will cost you 4 million to be able to pick up the K91. But one thing that everyone always seems to forget is that the on track to the K91 leads from the 430 version 2. What's great about the 430 version 2 is that you'll get 25% vehicle XP bonus. Well, yeah, Eclipse, I mean, it's the tier 9 in the tech tree leading up to the K91. But don't forget, because the Object 430-2 leads on to the 430 and the 430U, you will be able to get a 25% XP bonus to be able to get all of the tier 10s coming off of the 430-2. So this is a really good time to grind all of those Soviet mediums, and it's essentially just going to be able to grant you not only an ease to be able to get there, but also earn all of the vehicles at the same time. So it's a really good time to grind it, and hopefully you guys will take advantage of this. I personally have them all. We've done a review of the 430, we've done a review of the 430U recently, and the finale in the 3-part mini series that we're doing will be the K91, and then we'll do a comparison of all of the vehicles and give you my honest opinion as to which is the best tier 10 Soviet medium leading off of the 430-2, because we of course have the 140 and the T62A as well. But maybe it'll be worth highlighting all of the Soviet mediums and which one's the best in that video. But anyway, moving swiftly onwards, that is kind of the key core aspects that we are having. We've also got the July Tank of the Month for the AMX-13 SS11 TCA, which is the Escalation Era Western Alliance light tank, which I might actually be able to pick up because this one, I super enjoyed it. It's a missile launching tier Era 2 light tank that is unbelievably good with its missile launcher. I mean, it gets 660 pen with 1200 damage. This thing is an ammo rack beast. It's super fast. It has good vision. It has good hit points. It has good camo. And yeah, I mean, this tank is just very, very fun to play. It's a super fun one. And for $10, I mean, it's actually quite a bargain considering you get all of the other bonuses as well. I would pay probably $15 to be able to just get this tank. But yeah, it's down to you, of course, as I say throughout these videos. But weekly sales, then we also have the traditional sales for the World War II premium tanks. So Impactful Duo is 50% off. You can get the Tiger 131 and the T-34-88. It wouldn't be like Wargaming to sell the overpowered tanks again, would it? Not the Tiger 131 that is just a better version of the Tiger 1, the Hammer, and all of the Tiger variants, literally the best version. And this is a brilliant, brilliant vehicle, ridiculous DPM. You just need to fire a little bit of premium in it to make it work. And then the T-34-88, one of the most broken tier 6 vehicles in the game, alongside the Hellcat 105 and I don't even know, some of the other tier 6s. I don't really play that tier a whole lot, but this one is certainly a disgusting vehicle at that tier. So 6,750 gold, it's not a bad price considering that both tanks are brilliant. Then we move on to the defensive stalwarts, which come with the Rheinmetall Scorpion G and the Panther 88, both of which are decent. The Panther 88 probably less so, the Scorpion G being very good, and 9,750 gold. I could give this a pass, but you know, sometimes maybe it would be worth it for you. Guns and missiles, you've got the Cold War vehicles, so the WZ-122 and the MBT-70 for 12,900. I love the WZ-122, but MBT-17 not so much. But yeah, I mean, 12,900 gold. This would also probably be a pass for me. I wouldn't recommend it. And then the Hound and the Wolf, the Holland Hund and the Lycan, both of which are interesting vehicles, kind of unique to the light tank class. The Lycan is the auto-loading version of kind of the T-71, and of course you have the T-71 DAR or the DA, and this is a very similar tank. It's literally almost the exact copy, it just has a skin on it, and of course is a monster tank, so when the Halloween event comes around, you'll be able to play those tanks with the Monsters Unleashed variant of the vehicle and be able to participate in the event. So that kind of gives you access to that. Both of these are those vehicles as well, so you'll be able to use either of them. 6,400 gold. If you've not played either of them and you're interested in light tanks, it could potentially be an option. And then the final one, the T41E1. This is the light tank that is, of course, the M41 Walker Bulldog that was nerfed, except this was the original. So this is the 10-shot autoloader, I believe. I think it's a 10-shot autoloader. Yeah, it is. With 170 damage, of course, because 1,750 damage with this light tank is balanced. And it is a very, very fun one. I really enjoyed playing it. My initial review was kind of lackluster because I thought that the intricate reload was pretty lackluster. I mean, 2 seconds. It's not amazing. So it takes 18 seconds to fully unload. But, I mean, once you get around someone, when you stay alive to the end of the game, this is amazing to play. So just keep that in mind. It's super fast as well. So that's kind of the sales, all of them being pretty decent. Only a 30% discount on the T41E1 though, but it's super cheap anyway, so it's kind of worth it. Anyway, moving on, weekly deals. We have the Vindicator Charioteer. I really like this tank. And the HMH FE305 because, of course, World of Tanks console needed a tier 8 Burt artillery. Yeah, I would sincerely avoid anyone buying the artillery, but the Vindicator could potentially be an option. But yeah, super savings. Of course, this is the kind of personal offers that they used to do where you have to earn a amount of XP and then it unlocks you to be able to get that vehicle. T3485M, much like the T3488, is super OP. And yeah, I mean, it will be super cheap as well. And that will be 50% off. The HMH AMX 58 light tank, it's a higher alpha damage light tank that's, I don't really like it. I think it's a little bit sluggish, and with the alpha that it gets, its gun is a little bit derpy. But, you know, it's usable for sure. It has a long intricate reload, but it's there for those of you interested in it, and it will be 50% off. And the Huntsman Centurion as well is the final one, but I'm sure you've already seen about a million variants of the Centurion 1, so I would recommend just having the normal Centurion 1 if you're interested in purchasing this. Probably try that out and then maybe get it. But yeah, it's not a guarantee that you should be able to get it. And that is pretty much it. I mean, they've added a few inscriptions, the key cards, the new AAT60, which you can have a look at the review of the vehicle. We've done it on the channel, same as the Pratonite Shah MLE75, and then of course the Bastille Day challenge to earn the FCM50T Liberté, which is also available right now. You just have to essentially complete a series of operations where you get a ton of XP and stuff like that and points towards this operation, and you'll be able to get this French version of the FCM50T. So that is everything for this week. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. And once again, if you have any questions to ask Wargaming, I am doing a specific Q&A, hopefully, with Wargaming. And I've been compiling a list of all of your questions, which you guys have been amazing on. And of course, thank you very, very much to both the subscribers and the non-subscribers. And if you are in the second category, think about subscribing to the channel, as it massively helps me out. And of course, if you've enjoyed it, make sure you like the video, or let me know in the comment section what things you liked and any bits that you thought were completely pointless or useless, and I will try and remove them for the next time and just make them videos as good as possible for you guys, because that's what it's all about. But other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. I hope you have an awesome rest of the week, and I hope you'll join me back in tomorrow's video where we look at some more World of Tanks console, and I'll see you there. Goodbye.